What's up, folks? This is Crypto with James talking to you today about the Terra meltdown. We can't ignore it, we can't avoid it, and fundamentally, there's been some fairly insidious rumors coming out about it, and you've got to believe they carry weight. So I'm going to get into that. Before I do, I update the spreadsheet, the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel. If you had invested 100 into each of these when I release videos about them and you're still holding that crypto, you'd be in profit for 13 plus grand. Obviously, lots of retracements. We're now in a bear cycle. I have been reiterating that a bear cycle and recession was coming for 6 months now. So hopefully you've been building your list of coins. If you haven't, you can see what I'm going to be getting into in the bear cycle by checking out a copy of my crypto. The bear cycle is the best time to invest. It's just a fact. It's the scariest time to invest psychologically, but it's the best time to invest. It's historically true of every financial market going. So if you've not built your list, start doing it. Start identifying which cryptos you like. Otherwise, you can come see the ones I'm going to be getting into during the bear. Link is in the description. All right, guys. Terra, the programmable money for the internet, didn't work out. So Terra is a public blockchain protocol deploying a suite of algorithmic decentralized stablecoins which underpin a thriving ecosystem that bring DeFi to the masses. And obviously, there's been a hell of a lot happen. So I don't need to get into what's happened in terms of price. Terra is at about a cent. Now, Terra themselves have said that, well, actually, literally 20 minutes ago, they halted the network. They halted to prevent governance attacks because obviously they have had enormous lunar inflation, which has reduced the cost required to attack. Because obviously they don't want anyone holding, 50 plus percent, 51 plus percent. They don't want, well, they just don't want that happening. And right now, the lunar supply is going mad. 40.7 billion right now, circulating supply. 2 days ago, it was 386 million. Luna has just been pulled out of the air. And what does this do? Well, long term, UST Luna is almost certainly going to die because they have, to try and save the UST peg, they're effectively sacrificing Luna. Now, the decision making here has been really bizarre in terms of, rather than trying to save this algorithmic stablecoin, the stablecoin backed by very little liquidity, the stablecoin that has depegged and now is effectively a tradable asset where people are buying it low price, selling it at high price. So the selling pressure is consistent as well. It is an odd decision. It's an odd decision because you're deciding to mint and secure and create so much Luna in order to counter the losses of UST to such a degree that you've devalued your entire your gem. Effectively, the gem in Terra's ecosystem is the Luna token, not UST. So it's like they've decided to save their second most important crypto by diluting the most important one. And look, fundamentally, why this has happened, or the rumors. Let's say rumors. Charles Hoskinson shared a tweet about the word on the street for Luna, which he then deleted. But it was basically to do with what had happened regarding Luna, which an anonymous person sent him information regarding Citadel and BlackRock. So the conspiracy theory is Citadel Securities, BlackRock, and got a loan from Gemini to for 100,000 Bitcoin, utilize that Bitcoin and swap 25% of it for UST. Then the two companies dumped both the UST and Bitcoin, crashing UST's sister Luna token along with the price of Bitcoin and depegging, and as a result, depegging UST. BlackRock have denied it. Citadel have denied it. Gemini have also said in a tweet that they made no such loan. Now, one point I will make is this is a blockchain. So if such loans and if such behavior did happen, there are outstanding blockchain sleuths out there. There's a number on Twitter, genuinely with hundreds of thousands of followings, who investigate blockchain malicious actors, and hopefully they expose what's happened here, because this isn't a depegging as a result of bad luck. This is depegging as a result of insidious behavior. And whether Gemini whether Gemini did or did not, their statement could be factual because they use the term loan, and it doesn't necessarily qualify as a loan. You know, you can use lawyer speak to state that no, this is not true. And it's it's very unusual. CZ has actually tweeted out, and he said, we're in a new market with many innovations. Algo stablecoins is one of them, that when they are hot, they're all the rage. When they drop, it can be a vicious circle. Some innovations will become successful, many won't. At the end of the day, we need to go back to fundamentals, build real products, not reliant on short-term incentives or promotions, but with intrinsic value that people use. More than anything, we need to humbly respect the market and not be cocky, build step by step, day after day, and leave the rest to the market and time. And one point I'll make is, look, this is the sort of market I want right now, not necessarily what's happening with Luna. That's pretty horrific, and a lot of people have lost a lot of money, but a bear cycle is where money is made, and people do need to remember that. But it's, yeah, I mean, it's pretty dramatic. So, like I said, Hoskinson tweeted this out. Now, Gemini have outright denied it, but that could just be, they could be telling the truth based on the fact that they utilized a term like loan, and it doesn't necessarily have to, there are certain criteria that have to fit in for something to be defined as a loan. So it might not have been a loan. Citadel and BlackRock have outright denied it. And a massive point worth making and worth bearing in mind if people are unaware is that BlackRock are heavy investors in USDC. Well, they're heavy investors in Circle. Circle issue USDC, which is a stablecoin backed by dollar-to-dollar assets. In the same way USDT is. We saw a ton of fear in the markets this morning, a lot of FUD, a lot of BS about USDT and USDC. Everything lost its peg at one point or another, and that's down to market pressure. That's that simple. USDT, about $1 billion was cashed in of USDT for US dollar. Did that no problem. Yeah, it lost the peg for momentary times, but this happens, particularly in times of high volatility, high transaction volume. Now, And so the fact that BlackRock are behind USDC, which effectively is a rival, or USDT was one of USDC's rivals, it certainly adds weight to the potential truth that UST was attacked. And this was from Charles Hoskinson. So basically, they swapped 25k of Bitcoin into UST. This was all done quietly in anticipation of the attack. When the time was right, they apparently called up Do Kwon and said they wanted to sell out Bitcoin for UST. As it was a large trade, they told him they didn't want to move the market and asked if he would like to buy their large block of Bitcoin at a discount for UST. Do Kwon took the bait. He gave them a huge chunk of UST, thus lowering the UST liquidity significantly. At that point, BlackRock Citadel dumped all of the Bitcoin and UST, causing massive slippage and triggering a cascade of forced selling in both assets. The real problem was BlackRock / Citadel knew that Anchor, which holds a lot of Luna, was a Ponzi scheme. Now that's, yeah, I mean, you can make an argument for it, for sure. And this crash would trigger more withdrawals than Anchor can repay. These forced withdrawals and selling would trigger a massive sell-off in Luna, thus further breaking the $1 peg and wrecking the market further. BlackRock can now buy the Bitcoin back cheaply, repay the loan, pocket the difference, which ends up meaning billions of dollars. Pure market manipulation. Now that's what was sent to Charles Hoskinson. Again, there's no evidence, or there's no blockchain evidence yet. It is really important that people understand that there could be. And like I've said, there are some world-class blockchain detectives out there that are going to start investigating this for sure. This is not something that's going to go away, nor should it. Because if this was a coordinated attack by one of, if not, well, no, the biggest institution in the world that own everything, then they need to be held accountable. Since then, we've seen FUD about stablecoins relentlessly. We've seen Janet Yellen throwing out stuff about the need for regulation, as though she understands the distinction between UST and other stablecoins. It does feel like this is a targeted approach or a measured attack to get their CBDCs forward, or to prepare for those CBDCs. You know, we've spoken on the channel a few times here about regulation coming for stablecoins because you're borrowing someone's fiat currency. So this was always going to happen, that regulation was going to come in, but an attack like this really forces the agenda. Interesting that this accusation has got no traction in mainstream media. It's got traction on Forbes and Bloomberg, but not on BBC, Sky News, CNN, Fox News. I've not seen anything. And that is quite interesting. Crypto fund Orca has doubled down on UST, apparently. This was stated yesterday. They said UST will ultimately maintain its peg. So they've doubled down. So the firm, which manages 500 million in assets, told its limited partners in a note that it believed that Terra's teetering stablecoin would eventually regain its peg, and concluded the situation created a buying opportunity. Now, no doubt about it, market declines are a buying opportunity, but right now, evidence is not that Terra is going to get through this. We will see. And we will see if they can get things up and running and started. But they have diluted their biggest asset, which was Luna, to save their second biggest asset, which was UST. It's odd decision making at best, stupidity at worst. It would have probably been better to completely remove UST from circulation, because the losses would have been smaller. And the stories are awful. Left, right, and centre, the stories are awful. With regards to Terra, with regards to UST, there are stories left, right, and centre about how bad things have gotten for some people. And the only sort of hope I can sort of state and bring is really that, look, the crypto space isn't going anywhere. And there is, I've been on Telegram groups and I've been on today, I've been looking around, and that market sentiment is as negative as I can remember in recent history. It's worse than when the market sentiment and the feeling, particularly around Terra right now, is worse than anything I've ever seen in crypto. Even BitConnect, when all that crap was happening, when the markets tanked in early 2018. And there's a lot of, this is going to be the end of crypto. No, it's not. It's not going to be the end of crypto. Because fundamentally, people have to remember two things. Look, CBDC is on the horizon. Now, I don't particularly like that as a concept, but they have to use blockchain tech for it. So CBDC will come. So blockchain has to stay. Now, crushing UST has done something which is start that conversation, move that conversation forward in a very effective way with a fear-mongering tactic. But as bad as this is, as bad as what's happened with Terra is, and as bad as what it is with the UST, and as shit as it is for some people, this is not the end of blockchain technology. It's not the end of cryptocurrencies. It's the end of Terra, probably. But the money lost and the money people have lost can be re-earned in crypto. Bear cycles provide those opportunities, and it is identifying them and taking your time, but taking profits along the way. One of the biggest things that I think will be realized by a lot of people for the next cycle is that profit taking needs to be more consistent, because you can believe in something long term and it might not, and it might fail, and it might not be down to incompetence or it might be down to malicious acting. It's actually, with Terra, it's a combination, because there's some level of incompetence as well. But taking profits along the way is key. It's key. And one thing that's going to happen with Terra, one thing that's happened with Terra and UST, is that people that have been burnt by this will not come back to the crypto market, or a lot of them won't. And I can completely understand that from a psychological perspective, because the fear of this happening again must be monumental. But no, if you got burnt and you weren't burnt too badly, that those gains, that those losses can be recouped. The longer term vision you have, particularly for the most established cryptos, Bitcoins and Ethereums, they're not going anywhere. Well, they shouldn't. You can't say anything is definite in blockchain. The better off you'll be. And if you realize the profits along the way, you'll be okay. But it's not a thing you can put a positive spin on. It looks like the people that fuck around with the stock markets have done that to what was at one point $100 billion market cap crypto. And it's wrecked people. And the blockchain sleuths out there, rooting for you. Hope you can bring this to the forefront and share, and hopefully this gets picked up. Hopefully when the evidence is found for the actors behind this, it's shared in every media source available, and these people are held to account. And that's all we can hope for. And then we hope that the justice system does what it's meant to. But again, I don't hold out much hope, because it's the people that we believe we're trying to hold to account, or the people that own the justice system. Yeah, a bit of a sour note, and I'm sorry, but it's a story that's phenomenally interesting. It's as interesting as it is heartbreaking. And I hope everyone's doing okay out there. If you're struggling, make sure you go make sure you go spend time with your family, step away from the charts, because if you were in Terra and you're in UST and you got burnt, I don't think anything's changing dramatically over the next couple of hours or the next day or two, other than probably a continued decline. So just, yeah, be safe out there, guys. And yeah, and if you want to see what I'm getting in the bear cycle, investments I'm going to be making in the bear cycle, then you can click on the link in the description, come check it out, and every purchase I make, I will be sharing. So like I said, you want to know, click it and find out. Take it easy, guys.